Hello and welcome to the Evolution of the Fempreneur podcast, the go-to resource for women who want to grow a successful business. Our mission is to empower and support women on their entrepreneurial journeys by providing valuable insights, practical tips, and a supportive community of like-minded women. Each episode of the Evolution of the Fempreneur podcast features interviews with successful fempreneurs, business experts, and thought leaders, as well as a solo episode from our host. That's me, Wonderful Morrison, brand and marketing coach, business expert, and online business educator. If you're already on your entrepreneurial journey and seeking to take your business to the next level, the Evolution of the Fempreneur podcast has something for you. Join our community of empowered women and gain the knowledge, skills, and confidence you need to succeed in your entrepreneurial endeavors. Thank you for tuning in to the Evolution of the Fempreneur podcast. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Evolution of the Fempreneur, where women over 40 have conversations that are so vulnerable and so honest and so real about what it is to be a woman in today's modern world, being an entrepreneur, being a friend, being a support system, being of service to other people. There's so many titles that we carry. And also, there's so much of us not having conversations about how we've evolved into the woman we are today. So this is what this show is all about. And today I have a fantastic guest. So I always walk in not knowing too much about the nitty gritty of what it is they do and what business they're in, so that we are all getting this firsthand together. So my beautiful friend, Trish Tatarek, is here to tell us about body language, image, presence, and who she has become in the process of her life. And welcome to the show, Patricia. How are you?
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be around you. I always learn so much and I
Oh,
always grow from our conversations. So if anyone doesn't know that about you, that whenever they have a one-on-one conversation with you, they're going to walk away with their heart full and just joy, just an abundance of
oh,
joy, because that's
thank
what you said.
you.
They didn't
Thank
name
you
you wonderful
so
for
much.
nothing.
That is my birth name, not my stage name. I always have to be. Thank you so much. So you have been such a light in my life because you also are in the presence that I have known, to be told, simmer down. Simmer down, young lady. You're just too much. And when you said that, I felt like, oh my gosh, it's a kindred spirit, right?
Yes.
And so tell us, have you always been in that space? Have you always been sort of like too much for other? I mean, not that you knew that about yourself, but walk us through what being too much looked like as a young person.
Well, first of all, I had a mother that was a very opinionated and very
Mm.
loud. And she, wore the bright red lipstick and she had really dark hair. She had beautiful clothes. She spoke her mind. She didn't have much tact. She just laid it out there. And my dad is very soft spoken, very caring, very loving. So they were
Mm.
a great yin and yang, basically, kind of in my life. So I ended walking away with both. It wasn't until recently when I did the radical forgiveness with Berenda Reese that I realized my too muchness was really my mother and that I had taken on a lot of her
Oh,
persona.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. But too
That is
much,
so interesting.
yeah, too much kind of started like in maybe a little bit out of high school, from my friends. When you're an extrovert and you're kind of fearless, your life looks really attractive to others. And others,
Mm.
you're like this light and they're drawn to you. But eventually your light is just too bright and they're going like this. They're pulling back from it. And that's where you get, Trish, you're too much. You're too loud. You're too obnoxious. You're
Mm.
too opinionated. You're a bully. We always do what you want to do. And I go, well, I asked you
Oh,
5 times, I asked you 5 times what movie you wanted to see. And if you're not going to tell me after 5 times, then we're going to see what I
Right.
want to see, And
Yeah.
then it went into my work life as well, that I was just kind of too much, because if I had a job to do, I did it, and I did it with zeal, and I did it with zest, and where other people were taking the easy, laid back kind of approach. And I got noticed more. And then it was like, you're not being a team player. And I said, well, we all had the same assignment. Why didn't you do yours?
Mm.
So most of my life, I was asked to dim my light, to be less than, to make others feel more comfortable.
I
And
can't even imagine, Trish, because just the very sight of you is like the light bulb, right? So,
well, you've got that after a lot of work, in those times when I gave up myself, that's when we have that pull for ourselves. I can do
mhm.
this, and I'm going to be great at this, and I'm going to be successful. And then the other side is pulling you back because we're not in alignment. We're fighting between our past self and our greater self, because what I call the domestication of society. That's talked
Mm.
about a lot in How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This domestication of society, that we all need to be the same way, and that
Oh,
we
that
can't,
is so good.
yeah, and we need to celebrate our differences and our strength. Now, I realized I was big, I was bold, and I was loud, and so I wanted to pull that in and kind of harness that for the goodness of mankind. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So then walk us through this evolution of you recognize that, being too much is actually this incredible light and you're seeing it progress you in life. And, ladies, I just want to point out that had Trish been a man and had the same personality, it wouldn't have been shunned as often, right, as
Yeah.
it was. And that hence the whole domestication conversation there. But as you evolve into your career, tell us a little bit about that situation of what career you got into, and did you get into that career because of your boldness, or was it just appealing because of the boldness?
Well, it kind of started out first. I worked in corporate America, and I usually worked for the president of the company, a CFO, maybe HR, usually three people. And they loved my strong personality to work along with the president, who was usually gruff and considered a bear. And so I
Mm.
worked more like what we would say a man. So the other people that would call me that B word, and I once told people,
Oh,
you don't get to call me that B word. You can call me ostentatious and bossy or whatever, but we never call another woman that B word in business. I'm just being a boss woman. That's what I'm being.
amen,
Yeah, those are the
sister.
B words that you get to use with me. And then in real estate, I was basically my own boss. I worked in new construction, though, worked with teams, had those conflict with the women that were maybe more introverts,
Hmm.
who weren't pulling up their part of the work. I
Mm.
excel. And so they
Yeah.
wanted me to be less than. And then I left new construction to get into resale real estate. So I was my own boss. So I could do business the way I wanted to do business. And I would attract the people that were attracted to my light, that were attracted that I was a boss woman, that were attracted that I could get it done. But
Right.
still, there were things that weren't aligning. And then in 2019, I took Kirsten O'Shields, the founder of it's now the Business Leadership Excellent Institute. And underneath that, she has the Body Language Strategy Academy. And I took that course and I realized, wow, there's a way to take everything that I am and hone it in and use it for that goodness of mankind and the goodness of
Mm.
me, or then I can attract business, and then I can magnetize business and people. And what happened during that was just amazing. And I wanted to know more. And then
Oh,
go
tell
to
us
20,
more.
so in 2021, though, real estate, wasn't the same kind of real estate. I've been doing it for 30 years, and I got tired of that. If someone wanted to look at a house, I had to break plans, go show them the house. Otherwise, they would lose the opportunity.
Mm.
And my business was, struggling a little bit. I had mainly repeat clients and referral clients. But, like most of us, with the hot market, you were either feast or famine. And
Hmm.
I hired a life coach and I said, let's break me down and build me back up. and let's deal with all my limiting beliefs.
I can't even with your smiling about it.
Well, as you know,
I mean, that's great though.
yeah. As most people know, I lived it very much out loud on Facebook. So I would do Facebook Lives with tears streaming down my face for what I was doing. Because not only did I do that, I decided at the time I wanted to get certified as a body language strategist. So Kirsten O'Shields was coaching me 2 days a week. Andrew was coaching me 1 day a week. So 3 days a week. By Friday, I was toast every week.
You were double timing it, but as such, a bold woman's life, right? We don't do anything just in this normal sort of normal routine way. It's out there. We're doing it. We're all in.
And well, what most people don't know is I sold my big home and rented a house so I could take a year and a half off to do this. So I got certified as a body language strategist, a video marketing strategist, a life coach, and then certified under Train the Trainer so I could teach real estate clock hours. But during
Wait, hold on. Let's back up a minute because you said it in such passing that I really want the audience to hear this. So during this time when you said break me down and build me back up, you decided to also release 90% of your life.
yes,
Tell us just a little snippet of that, because that's a very bold, not even just a statement, but you did it. You walked away from a life you have known, financially, emotionally, routinely. And you know, what age were you at when you decided that? And then what did you
61.
do? Oh my,
61 years old. And I made a six-figure income in real estate. And I gave that away to start new and gave up my big, beautiful 3,000 square foot home and all to go on this ride. And it was the scariest. And it still kind of is
wow.
because I just launched in June my business. And
Wow.
yeah, so, you know, I'm going to take you back for a moment. There's twice in my life where I've done some reflection. When I turned 40, I said, what haven't you done in your life that you would really like to do that you don't want to do at 80? And I says, I really want to travel abroad. I really want to learn to cook well, and I want to sing. So I took singing lessons for a year and a half. Then I rented a hall and I sang in front of 30 people, my peers, my friends, and my family, 14 Broadway songs.
Oh my gosh. Please tell me you recorded that because we would all love a taste of Trish's.
It
Oh my
is
gosh.
It is recorded, but I've never watched it. And during the first song, I had a friend come up and hold my hand because I cried through the first song. It was one of the bravest things I ever did. It's talk about being vulnerable because I had always wanted to be an actress or a singer, but I don't have that kind of voice. But I did it. And then I traveled abroad. I did a cooking tour of Italy. And so I really learned to cook. And what was the other thing? So I got to travel, got to learn to cook, and I did the singing. So fast forward at 61, also thinking when I'm going to leave real estate and take on body language strategy, I said, if this is 2/3 of my life and I have another third, what do I want to do? Now I'm good at real estate. People think I'm great at it, but it wasn't feeling the part of me wanting to really give back to other women after finding out that my light was bright and that I should shine it with no apologies. I wanted to help other women find their light, to shine it bright and not be apologetic about it. And we know when you do things like this, your friendships change. So one of the hardest things to do was to go to my friends and say, I no longer have the capacity to be the person who connects, invites, and plans. You're going to have to do this. I have too much on my plate right now. And if you don't do it, our friendships will go down the wayside. They will go down the path because, you know, no one likes to hear that you're only as good as the 5 closest people around you, because we've had people in our lives for many years, but they don't maybe excel like we do, or they don't have the passion, and we don't want to leave them. But sometimes then we're not making room for people that are going to get us from an 8 to 10 or from an 8 to 11, or we all have different numbers that we vibrate at. And a lot of my friends vibrated at a 6, and I was vibrating at an 8. And I needed to have conversations that an 8 would have. And then I needed to hear conversations that 9s and 10s were having so that it could propel me forward. And if I kept on only having conversations at the level of 6, I was going to stay there.
Right.
Now,
I mean, can we just freeze there for a minute? Ladies,
Yeah.
what permission Trish is giving us is so, it's like the missing ingredient to the best cake, because she's not saying that she's better, or she's not saying that, but what she's saying is to evolve into who you made a real statement to yourself of like, if I have another this many years to live out life, and this is how much I want to do, I've really got to change, right? There's so many memes that say that. That's like, if you want things to change, if you want things to be different, you've got to change. But that's a hard thing to do, because what you were saying, you're not saying it to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to just leave them in the dust. It's you're inviting them, and whether they want to come or not is really up to them, but you know better.
Yeah.
Like we have to take a moment to take that in, because ladies, evolution is a moving train. It is not something that's just waiting for you to jump on. And you've got to see the whole picture of it all. Oh, every part of your story is like, hold on, nugget time. All right, let's keep going. And then what happens?
And it doesn't mean I'm not scared, and I'm not afraid, and I'm not fearful. As a Christian woman, I've been taught that if I'm those things, then I'm not trusting God. And Brenda with Radical Forgiveness said, well, Jesus was scared and did it anyway. And again, I'm not putting my faith off on anyone else. We all have our own faith system or belief system. So I'm not trying to change you or yours, but this helps you connect to who I am. And so then I had a conversation with her, because I realized I was living in a lack mindset, because I just launched my business. As a real estate entrepreneur, I know what to do. I know how to get my leads. I know how to get my clients. I know how to do my follow-up. I know what social media I need to do. I know what technology I need. I know what systems I need. But this is all new. And it's easy to get overwhelmed and become fearful and scared. And then I was reminded that my higher power is a higher power of abundance. And that's abundance of joy. That's abundance of peace, mercy, grace, forgiveness, knowledge, all these things. And when I started to realize that I already had abundance, maybe not my bank account, things will change. I was thinking about, I need dental work done, and that's going to be $30,000, $50,000. And, how I'm going to make money to support me and do that. And then I thought, oh, I'm not even worried about it. It's going to happen, because I'm living in that abundance mindset. And it's kind of interesting, because Rita Marie is just is teaching something now on the abundance mindset, which I changed my word from intention, because I've had that for a year and a half. Now I changed my word for the rest of the year to be abundance, because someone said joy, like happiness is something that happens kind of to us. You can choose happiness. I think it's more like you choose joy. Happiness, oh, this good thing happened, I'm happy, this good thing happened. But when bad things happen, then we're not happy. But joy is something that is a constant in our lives. So whether or not my business is booming as much as I want it to be, or whatever, I can still choose to be joyful and still live in that abundance mindset. And that's going to attract and magnetize people to you. The grouchy face, like, oh, life is horrible, is not going to attract. And that's what I teach. In body language strategy, what people don't know, we teach you how to magnetize through 4 pillars, business and people to you.
I think what's so amazing about what you're sharing with us is, based on your storyline, I think you've always been an abundant person, but the exterior world is like, I don't think so, Missy. And the beauty about it is, I really want the audience to hear this, is although you've had that in you, you still needed to connect to people to remind you that it is within you. Because a lot of times that's what we do out there in the world. We're just suffering by ourselves. It's like, I know I can do it, but then you don't seek the support that, and that's what I think is so beautiful about your story, is you've never not been a bright light. But every experience that you've had has been trying to dim it down. But instead of following suit to the dimming down, you just went and found other people that helped support the brightness
Yeah.
consistently, no matter what age you were in. And you did it with enthusiasm and excitement. And so now let's talk a little bit about what you believe. I always like to bring up this subject because wealth is such a big subject to talk about as a business owner, because that's what we're all trying to get to as wealth. However, we have a different definition of wealth today than like what you said when you were 40 versus when you turned 60 versus when you were 20, right? Versus when you were 18. Walk us through your evolution of wealth. What do you believe wealth is to you today?
Well, it started, my first conversation with myself about wealth and value happened in 2007 and 8, where I almost lost my house in that crash of the market.
Mhm.
And it was really a tough time. And Joyce Myers was on the TV saying, when you're in the roughest time of your life, the best thing to do is put the focus on someone else and go help someone else. Now, I came
Amen.
to the point I couldn't pay my electrical bill. My friend paid it. I went to church with someone and they gave me a, a Visa card for gas and a Visa card for food. Now, I'm the person who's always helping and bailing people out. For me to ask for help was very difficult
Wow.
for me. But I woke up every day and I said, God, who can I help today with no benefit to myself? And it is amazing how things then changed and things started coming my way and things started to happen. I also look at it this way. You can take away my house, you can take away my car, you can take away everything from me, but you can't take away my health and you can't take away my mindset. You can't
Mm,
take away my faith. Whoever your
yeah.
core values are, no one can ever take those away from you. Those are always yours. So that is really where your richness lies. So when I almost lost my house, I had to have a conversation that my value is not based in our house.
Mm,
Most women can put their value on helping their husbands, helping their children, and doing
mhm.
all those things. Like my life coach at one time told me to do nothing for 2 months. Nothing. I mean,
I
I
see
don't
your
get to,
face.
I know, I don't get to check off a list. I don't get to have a done pile. It was the hardest thing that I ever did. There were days I didn't even get out of bed because how do you do nothing? You know?
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
then
such a beautiful thing though.
and who am I in doing nothing? And that's where you learn who the core person is inside
Mhm.
of you. And that core person really wants to help. So my wealth is in how many people's lives I can touch. By doing the body language strategy course, not only did I improve my business relationships, my personal relationships, but the number one thing impacted was the relationship with myself, because now
Amen.
I walk into anything with confidence. I feel competent at what I'm doing. I know I can convey trust, and what we reflect out is what was reflected back to us. And
Yeah.
I am more approachable now. And that's a gift that I want to give to other people, because when you find that, then you can shine your light and people are going to be attracted to your light and people are going to want to get to know you. So our wealth is in our relationships.
Yes,
Our wealth,
absolutely. That's such a beautiful statement of what you really want to share with the world, is that our wealth is our relationships, because really COVID, I think, showed us that, right? COVID really showed us, or had us assess what's the most important to us. But it sounds like the experience of the COVID isolation happened to you prior to the big hit of COVID. So it really helped you. And I think that's the thing, is what helps us evolve into who we want to become, or becoming by default,
yeah.
right? Is that those questions. I think it's, how did you learn how to ask yourself those deep questions throughout the stages of your life? Like, how did you even gather to do that? Because I don't know anybody else who's told me that, I just sat down and I asked myself that. Other than myself, I used to do that as a kid. I'd be like, okay, what do you really want?
Well, because Early on, I didn't accept that domestication of life. Like when I had a sciatica from busting up my tailbone, and then the doctor says, "Well, you're going to have this for the rest of your life." And I go, "No, I don't accept that." I was in a bad car accident, and I actually lost spelling, geography, grammar, my ability to comprehend and retain information. And I had to spend 5 years teaching myself. And they go, "Oh, you could have blackout and seizures for the rest of your life." And I go, "No, I'm sorry, I don't accept that." Or, Trish, you can't go reinvent yourself. Sorry, I don't accept that. I try not to, I've already let people tell me that I was too much and down myself down. I'm never doing that again.
Mhm.
Yes. And people say, what you're doing is crazy. And one of my friends said, Tina McKay said, what you're doing is brave, asking someone to break you down, build you back up and deal with your limiting beliefs. And then taking away a lucrative 30-year career and starting a new career. You're brave. And you poo-poo that. And now I go, I hear you. Thank you. I receive that. Why is it so bad for us to receive? When we poo-poo a compliment, you're putting down the other person. You're taking away a gift that they're giving them to you. The best gift you can do is to receive it. But not only receive it, I learned because my life coach would say all these wonderful things about me. And I go, huh. And then one day I stopped and I go, okay, I'm going to listen. Yeah.
Wow.
I am these things. And if I am these things, and I have a list of words that are my superpowers. Oh, I have it over there. So she, and I kind of did it. I suggest a lot of people do it. And I don't know if people are going to see this. So I did a word collage on the back of my business card, and I emailed clients, friends, family, and peers. And I said, can you do 3 words, positive or negative, to describe me?
Mm-hmm.
And then I took all the words and then I check marked how many were repetitive, and the most words I did this. And to know who you are, who people perceive you to be: creative, charismatic, patient, dynamic, caring, respectful, strong, knowledgeable, intelligent, honest, trustworthy, leader, punctual, friendly, grateful, vivacious, organized, passionate, kind-hearted, generous, nurturing, funny, loyal, supportive. This is who I am. It's good to know how people perceive you, because wonderful, we all tell ourselves a story.
Right.
And we get stuck in our story. You are the author of your life. You are the author of your story. You are the only person that can rewrite it. You can't hire a ghostwriter to do it.
Right.
You have to rewrite your story. So who are you, or who do you want to be? If you're saying, well, that's what I want to be, guess what? That's already in you, because we already have a greater self in us. And at Body Language Strategy Academy, we teach people how to tap into that greater person. I'm not talking about the future person. I'm talking about the greater person that already lives within you.
Wow. I mean, ladies, if you are listening to Trish and you're just like, yes, everything she says is gold, and you want to represent your life in a way, in that same bravery, and it's in you, right? I think that is, this is the direction you need to go. I mean, Trish is the perfect human being to help us through breaking down the barriers of that domestication. So let's say that that's the case. Let's say that there's somebody here that's listening that's like, oh my gosh, like she is speaking my language, but scared, really, terrified of what could be. What would be your top 3 suggestions in the priority of how to move forward? Like, I don't think they're gonna be like, oh, I want to do exactly what she does and stop everything for a year and break down my life. So in that spirit of not going all the way Trish style, what would be your top 3 suggestions?
Well, number one, I want to tell people, when we dream and our dream scares us, because often, and it's good to write your big dream. My big dream is I want to stand on a stage teaching and coaching life lessons to thousands of people. And my second one is I want to sit next to Oprah on Super Soul Sunday. Oftentimes we have to be careful who we tell our dreams to, because if they're not within their picture scope, they know you from your past and maybe you've changed and evolved, but they don't know that, they're going to
Right.
poo-poo that. So be careful. Only choose certain people to tell your dream to. The number one thing is don't go from 0 to 60. That's what my life
Oh,
coach tells me. You don't go 0 to 60, you go 0 to 20. So if you're interested in a field, then just take a couple classes to see if that really sparks something in you, or volunteer in an area that you're oh God, I've always wanted to be a veterinary assistant, but I'm 50 years old and is it too late to go to school? There's a lot of volunteer things you can do within a vet clinic or a vet hospital to see if you like that atmosphere. There are classes that you can
yeah.
take on certain subjects. There's networking groups that you can join and be among like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first step, is to really just dip your toe in there to see if this is what you want. I took body language in 2019, so the toe was dipped. And I
Right.
knew, so I knew that I just wanted to have what Kirsten Shields had. I
And that's,
just,
you know what, all of us as business owners, honestly, that's all our dream clients want. It's what we already possess.
yeah,
And it resonates because what they possess, we already have. We just are not certain where
yeah,
that lies within us, right?
yeah.
So that is such a beautiful statement of how when people are like, okay, let's break down our niche. What is our niche? All you have to really do is look at yourself.
Yeah. Number two is start having conversations with like-minded people, or
Mm,
people that are brave and people that are fearless. And, and read some books, because, when we look at some of our top people, or the Think and Grow Rich book, I love the Think and Grow Rich book. I don't like the title of it because it's not just about growing rich. It's all about
yeah,
mindset, but we're
yeah,
looking in the history of some of the most successful people, and the most successful people today don't even watch the news,
yeah.
and they hang out with like-minded people again. So find organizations or a group of friends where you can start having conversations, because that starts to feed that place in your soul, and your soul will
Mhm.
start to know, okay. And the greater self is where we go to ask the question, what's the next step? And your greater self already knows what the next step is. So number three is just do it. Nike
Go
was
all out and
Nike
do it, right?
Yeah, Nike was right. Just do something. Again, just so now you've
Mhm.
taken classes, or now you did it at the vet thing. Now it's time. Actually, number three is you got to write it down. We
Mm.
have been taught this through all, if you've been in sales for any part of your life, or you're an entrepreneur, we are told you need to write your goals and your dreams down. Write it a
Right.
story. Dream is big. I wasn't taught to dream big. In my family, we were lower middle class. We were taught to survive. We were not taught to dream
Mm.
big. I want you to dream big. I said I wanted to make $10 million
Mm.
in 10 years. And two young financial guys kind of looked at me like, that kind of face. And I said, okay, if you can't believe in me, then I can't work with you. You won't.
Oh, good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I need people that are going to be on my team and my cheerleaders.
Yeah.
So we're going start from 0 to 10, 0 to 15, 0 to 20. You will learn the next step. Start going out and taking either classes, or volunteering somewhere, or joining a network with like-minded people. And
Mhm.
then number three, again, write down it is what you want, and ask your greater self, what's my next step? And then
Yes.
I'm
Wow.
gonna add a fourth. No one asks their family to get on the page. We're not having conversations with our family. Like I had a client who's worried about, what if I succeed past my husband? Michael, do you know how he feels about that? And she said no. And I said, that's a story you're telling yourself, that he would be threatened by it.
Mm.
You need to have that
Right.
conversation, because what you've told me about your husband, I think he's a cheerleader. I think he's going to be on the
Oh,
sidelines and probably even quit his job and get on your bandwagon and celebrate you. So we're not having questions telling, hey, kids, I need you to step up because mom is going to do this.
hmm.
Husband, I'm really interested in this and I'm going to need your support. Can we be on the same team? We're not having those
Right.
conversations. So instead, we're creating the stories and we're filling in these
Right.
blanks without having the right conversations.
Wow. I mean, honest to God, we could have lady, people who are listening out there, audience, people we love. Can you not listen to Trish 100 more hours here? Like, I feel like I am over here just, I want to replay this and listen to you over and over again talk, because I feel invigorated just by your story. And that is really the support in this evolution of women. Because I think at a certain age, we all think, okay, well, it's enough. We've done enough. And really, the enough is when we're dead.
Yeah.
That's the truth, right? It's still possible, especially in today's age. We live in this modern world of getting the ability to have the resources to create what we want, and it's really us that's holding us back. And I love how you said you don't that is such a, that book is the classic, everybody's got to read that book, Think and Grow Rich. And
Mhm.
it's fascinating. I'm thinking they probably named it that because they didn't have the word mindset yet.
Yeah.
They didn't know that as a thing yet, because that was written like in the 30s. But now all of that whole book is prime time reading material because it is deeply rooted in mindsets.
It is.
And
Yeah.
it's a great book. It never like gets old, or oh, it's archaic. It's not, because it is the same need we have today to exist in a world with
Yeah.
each other. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for your time. And we, every guest always will have all their information in our show notes. And I just want the world to know about you, just because you have been such a light in my life from the moment I met you. I mean, lady, I met this woman and I just puked out my whole life, and I knew she was not going to judge me or shun me. I don't know. I don't know how I knew that. And all you did was embrace me and support me. And I think all of us need that in our lives. It's like what you said. Be careful who you share it with, but because our vibration was at the same
Yeah.
level. And so it was easy to let you in, to allow
Yeah.
you into my life.
Well,
So,
you vibrate out of 10, and I just want the audience to know. The other day I was feeling really overwhelmed, and it was actually yesterday, and we had a conversation, and she has a course, and she invited me in as a guest just to observe because she knew it was kind of what I needed. And just you're so gracious, and you're so giving,
oh,
and you're so caring, and you're just a badass boss woman, but you're so supportive of the women of community. And if anyone knows their stats, it's Miss Wonderful knows her stats. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've quoted you that the age of women between like 40 and 65 are the least
yeah.
targeted two people, and stuff like that. But I want to thank you because you do vibrate at that like 10 level, probably even at the 11 level, and you're there to help us eights, um, take one step
Oh,
up that ladder ring, and you meet us where we're at, and then you bring us along with you. So thank you.
thank you so much. And I think I hand it off to, really, I give so much kudos. And that's why I loved hearing your story about, you didn't allow yourself to just wallow in the spaces when you asked the question. You sought out how this could happen with another like, who can help me process this? Who can help me move there? Right. And that was really always what raises our vibration, is we're consistently growing and seeking out and pursuing the growth like a hungry pit bull, right? And so I think that we have to give ourselves the credit of, the opposite of domestication is to find the support to see bigger outside of what domestication is. It's not that domestication is bad, it's just that that's where you live. The vibration will stay there, and
Yeah.
you're really not going to surpass anything that you are at currently,
Well, to be
right?
honest, I didn't know there were women like you and the other people I've met at Exceptional Connections and Fave and things like that. I didn't know these women existed. women that vibrated at my level, because I was not meeting them in my career. Didn't have them in my friend group. And so I want to encourage these women that if you're feeling like you're vibrating at this higher level, there are women out there to connect with and to
Amen.
have great conversations with, and that will cheerlead you on and help when needed to help and help point you in the right way. There are resources out there.
Yes.
You're not doing this alone. There is a tribe of women out there ready to help you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time and your energy and everything that you are. Until the next time, everyone, thank you for joining us here at the Evolution of the Fempreneur, where we're here to encourage, support, and bring out the very best in all of us at this beautiful stages of our lives over 40. So until next time, toodaloo, bye.
Then Lead Her Biz Academy is the online business education platform for you. Our strategically minded and purpose-driven approach will equip you with the tools, knowledge, and support you need to build a successful business and achieve your goals. Now, why women specifically? Because when women earn more money, we not only have more influence and choices, but we also create opportunities for others. And building a successful business allows us to support those we love and the causes we care about most. At Lead Her Biz Academy, we understand that women are already strong. That's why we focus on helping women unlock their authentic power and their capacity to attract wealth and impact other women. We believe that feminine presence is the key to unlocking your full potential as a successful female entrepreneur. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level and unlock your authentic power, join us at Lead Her Biz Academy. Let's make an impact and build profitable businesses together.
Thank you for tuning in to the Evolution of the Fempreneur podcast, where we empower and support women on their entrepreneurial journeys. We hope you found value in today's episode and feel inspired to take action towards your goals.
At Lead Her Biz Academy, we believe that every woman has a potential to achieve her dreams and create a successful business. Our community of like-minded women provides a supportive space for learning, growing, and connecting with other fempreneurs. If you're already on your entrepreneurial journey and seeking to take your business to the next level, consider joining Lead Her Biz Academy today. Our programs, courses, and resources are designed to help you develop the skills, mindset, and strategies you need to succeed in your entrepreneurial endeavors. Thank you again for listening to the Evolution of the Fempreneur podcast. We'll be back soon with more insights and inspiration to help you thrive in your business and life.